Okay, we are here, and I must take my laptop and show you. And now I will show you just the place where we are to see, because we are on the mountain. Just a moment. Okay.
Beautiful. It looks beautiful and windy.
Yes, last night we have a storm, and it is campers. We have a storm last night, and there is a group of campers, and we are here.
Yeah, great. Camping in the cold.
This is the youngest participant in our camp.
Hi. Good job.
Okay.
Hi, Sinjajevina.
Hey, you said it. So for those of you just coming in, we are with Milan Sekulović and Petar Glomasic, and Milan is a Montenegrin journalist and civic environmental activist, the founder of the Save Sinjajevina movement, which has existed since 2018 and which began to develop from an informal group of citizens into an organization that is intensively fighting to protect the second largest pasture in Europe. And Milan is the founder of the civic initiative Save Sinjajevina and its current president. And Petar is a graduated aeronautical engineer and aviation consultant and a documentary filmmaker, translator, alpinist, and ecological and civic rights activist. Since 2018, Petar has been working as co-director and associate producer of a feature-length documentary film called The Last Nomads, which is still in production, and the film takes place in the Sinjajevina mountain. So Milan and Petar, if you're able, please take it away.
Yeah, I managed to unmute myself.
Yay.
So good afternoon, and thank you very much for this great opportunity to be the part of this conference and to have this workshop and to share our ideas and experiences with the rest of the world, and to get some advices from the experienced people and activists all around the world. So yes, Milan is in the mountain. You can see it is a bad weather those 2 days, but it is a bit better today than yesterday. And I'm still down the valley. So yes, we prepared this, let's say, a simple presentation to allow everyone to follow our story. And if you agree, I have some, let's say, 15 minutes presentation to tell the story. And I will share my screen if you don't mind. Can you see my screen now, or?
Yes.
You see the Save Sinjajevina presentation, okay?
Yes.
Oh, good. Because I'm not sure what you can see right now. Okay, so what is our story? Our story is story of Sinjajevina mountain, that beautiful one you can see on the screen. And I'm here today, of course, with Milan on behalf of Civic Initiative Save Sinjajevina. And this story is story about the mountain and its local communities. Our organization gathers these local communities and other ecologically aware citizens who strongly resist the establishment of NATO military training ground in this UNESCO protected area. And of course, we are struggling to create a protected area in Sinjajevina, co-designed and co-governed by local communities. But let's start from the beginning to give you some ideas about background of this story. So the story is situated in Montenegro, and you know Montenegro is a tiny country and former republic of former Yugoslavia. It is, you know, tiny country in Western Balkans with the access to Adriatic Sea, which is very popular touristic destination due to its rare beauty and amazing history and tradition. You can see some beautiful pictures and scenes from our country. And you all have to know that Montenegro is the first country to proclaim an ecological country through its constitution. But unfortunately, the reality is often very far from what is proclaimed. Sinjajevina is the mountain in the northern part of Montenegro, and it is at around 2,000 meters of altitude. First of all, I will show you a few photos of this mountain and tell you some important facts about it. So Sinjajevina, as you can see, is an extraordinary mountain pastoral territory that extends over 450 square kilometers in Dinaric Alps of Montenegro. And it is the most extensive pasture in the Balkan Peninsula and one of the biggest in Europe. The place represents an extremely rare ecosystem with thousands of plant species, and it is full of wildlife. Sinjajevina is characterized by vast, continuous grasslands at altitude around 2,000 meters of altitude, bordered by the canyons of Tara and Morača River, and surrounded by dense and diverse forests of pine and beech trees. The land is used by transhuman herders for centuries, and they move their animals to spend the summers in the highland pastures of Sinjajevina, and they are returning back to valleys during the winter season. Today, this land is used by more than 500 families of farmers and nearly 3,000 people. And what is very important to understand, this pasture is governed commonly by 8 different Montenegrine tribes for centuries. Sinjajevina Plateau is part of Unesco Tara Canyon Basin Biosphere Reserve. It is bordered with 2 national parks and 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And itself, this area is planned with the EU as Natura 2000 protection area. So it is really specific and nice area, great biodiversity. It is really something. But one day, what happened? Military training ground was proclaimed in this area. In 2019, Montenegrin government decided to create international military training ground in this land. Now, the environment and the livelihoods of those traditional communities are in imminent danger. This decision was done just after Montenegro became the part of NATO alliance in 2017. However, the Montenegrin state is fully conscious of Sinjajevina's enormous cultural and natural value, because an extensive study was completed in May 2016 in support of its recognition as a protected area. The effort to create a natural park in Sinjajevina began even in December 2013 with a project co-founded by the European Union. The EU covered 2/3 of the total budget of 300,000 euros, and the rest was provided by Montenegrin state. So they are very aware of what Sinjajevina is. So the work went on for 35 months, and it resulted in a comprehensive overall study by the Environmental Protection Agency of Montenegro, and it was included in Montenegro's official spatial plan until 2020. However, suddenly, when Montenegro became the member of NATO in 2017, as I said, government has halted this planned regional park for protection and promotion of nature and culture. So you can see here on this slide that planned military training ground surrounded by those red areas which represent UNESCO World Heritage Sites and national parks and the areas under special protection in Montenegro. And when it happened, the people raised their voice against militarization of Sinjajevina. It started with spontaneous protests, but it was clear to us really from the very beginning that a valid strategy to fight against this decision must be established. And actually that is the subject of our workshop today. We want to share with all of you our story and our strategy, what we did and how we are fighting this incredible decision. So our opponent looked invictable, really. And the state strategy was to talk about this issue as little as possible in public. And really, this stunning decision was made without any real public discussion or consultation with local and academic communities, literally behind the back of its citizens. So some fake public discussions behind which the decision makers are hiding were only formal political party gatherings of a group of like-minded people. So our strategy was completely different. Our strategy was and is the only possible one, to spread awareness of the importance of this area, its inhabitants and traditions, awareness of the consequences that the implementation of this plan will bring. We started a long series of protests, performances, and other gatherings seeking media attention. We used a lot of social medias just to spread the word about our problem. We formed this civic initiative, Save Sinjajevina. We created a blog, and we were fully convinced that the only hope for our struggle lies in connecting with international organizations. We have a proverb in our language, in our country, that says that until the child cries, neither the mother remembers him. So we came into contact with Professor Pablo Dominguez, the anthropologist from the University of Toulouse, who in November 2019 managed to present this case in the EU Parliament and UNESCO headquarters in Paris. This led to a meeting of our NGO and other environmental NGOs and representatives of the herders with the EU parliamentary delegation in Podgorica. We connected with organizations like ICCA Consortium, International Land Coalition, Land Rights Now, Common Land Networks, AVAS, and others. The result was launching an international campaign and petition. We have got the support of over 100 of non-governmental organizations from all over the world, and we gathered thousands of signatures in our petition. And all this happened in 2020. However, this was not enough to stop the state in its plans. Again, using a low-profile strategy, the army intended to conduct an exercise, military exercise with the use of combat artillery weapons without its prior public announcement. They have been going around the mountain looking for shepherds to tell them to remove themselves from the mountain before October 15th that year. And then what we did, we held a press conference and publicly announced that the army was secretly warning people to get off the mountain. The Minister of Defense was forced to appear in public and to announce the exercise and state the dates and the location of the exercise. And then 2 days before the announced start of the military training exercise, the people occupied the location before army arrived. Thus began our 50-day open-air protest in which we managed to prevent the implementation of this exercise. The lucky circumstance was the fact that at the moment the formation of new government was expected. Actually, in the elections at the end of August 2020, the previous parliamentary majority lost power after 30 years, and the new government was formed only at the beginning of December that year, and the people were forced to guard the mountain until the moment the new government promised that there would not be military exercises and that the people could return to their homes. So all this created a lot of publicity, and that's how we got in touch with World Beyond War. And after that, we received this organization's prestigious award for 2021. Unfortunately, this government did not formally cancel the decision of the military training ground. More than 18 months have passed in vague formulations on this problem to numerous questions from the non-governmental sector and journalists. In the meantime, this government has been overthrown, and the issue of the military training ground is still completely open and unresolved. Our activities did not stop for a single moment. We have sought for support from experts, and we got it. We became members of ILC and ICCA consortium, and with the support and help of these organizations, and really the unavailable help of the World Beyond War, we have reinvigorated our campaign and international petition. So on June 18 this year, in cooperation with the delegation of EU and the international scientific project IRIS, we organized the Day of Sinjajevina, where dozens of representatives of the local communities of Sinjajevina in a festival mood welcomed and served numerous visitors from with traditional products. After that, European Parliament resolution dated 23rd of this year on the 2021 Commission report on Montenegro clearly states that they regret that despite initial progress, the Sinjajevina issue is still not resolved. Also, our new Prime Minister promised to save Sinjajevina. So we have here the full chain of very nice events. But after all of this, just a few days ago, the Minister of Defense, the new one, after returning from the NATO summit in Madrid, said in the Parliament of Montenegro that it is not logic to cancel the decision on the military training ground in Sinjajevina and that the army will carry out their activities there. So the minister also explained that this issue was only poorly communicated to the public and that this poor communication ended in political abuse by which the citizens were manipulated. In other words, we are manipulators and the people are manipulators. In addition, the Chief of General Staff accused the activists who are advocating for the demilitarization of Sinjajevina of standing between the army and the people. The old and brutal rhetoric, I would say, appeared again. And so it is clear that we are still far from this, from final solution for this. And that's why it is really interesting that all is happening just in the most important moment of the year for us, because we are just created and we are doing our solidarity camp at Sinjajevina. So Milan is there and he will talk us more about what is going on up in the mountain. But just to say, we created this Save Sinjajevina Solidarity Camp from 8th to 15th of July. And this is the list, let's say this is the program of this big event. So yesterday people started to arrive. Today we had cow milking and hiking in the mountains, but the weather was not very nice. Also, we planned workshops about Sinjajevina and connections from the mountains to the online global conference, what is we are doing right now. So tomorrow we will hike to discover flora of Sinjajevina and collect flowers for a flower crown making. And we are preparing Petrovdan, St. Peter's Day, which is on 12th of July. This is the most important day in Sinjajevina. We are traditionally celebrating that day, so hundreds of people will join there. The end of all of this will be the July 15th, the most important day when we are going to submit the petition to the Prime Minister, Minister of Defense, and EU delegation of Montenegro to officially cancel the military training ground in Sinjajevina. So early morning transport will be arranged from Kolašin to Podgorica. Now I would like to pass the word to Milan. Milan, please join and tell us about atmosphere in the mountain.
Hello, everybody. I'm Milan Sekulović, and I'm right now on the Sinjajevina. And yes, we have a solidarity camp which started yesterday, and we have a big plan to present some videos and photos from today's activity. But we have a little problem because we are here officially in July, but on the ground we have a November. So we spend the day in shelter, which provide our community also. So this solidarity camp have one goal, that is a promotion of Sinjajevina like a destination where people live and where we also can have cattle breeders and also tourists. We want to be ecological and agricultural mountain. And this is the second time which where we organize this event, and every time after camp we have a big celebration of St. Peter's Day. That is traditional event of our mountain, where the people from the around every part of mountain coming on a Savina Lake and speak about season, about year, about cattle. I will just add some short stuff about mountain. So we have a community with around 500 people, and in the process of creation of that military training ground, nobody or no one of them was not consulted about purpose and using of Sinjajevina. And result of that is also that protesting camp, which Peter say, and also now every year we are present on the on every season. So snow, rain, fog, sun, we are here, and in every moment we are ready to give our lives for our mountain. And now we as a proof for that, it was last night when we have a very strong wind, very strong rain, and we sleep in the tents. But sleep is wrong word, because we don't sleep and we just wait to be bring somewhere down because we are on 1,700 meters on the mountain. And but people, we have a people who are first time are on the mountain, and they show how they are brave. And we have 6 children here, And everybody, this morning when I woke up around 5 a.m., I go from the tent to the tent and check what is happening there. And I expect pretty much nervous people, but that was not the case. They was very happy. That was surprisingly, and they say it's okay. That is the mountain, and we are here to protect and to fight. And if one rain disturb us from that fight, so what is the point? And so we have a very strong community, and that community rising up every day, because on every camp we have a new people. We have all old people with us, but also we have a new community which grows. That is not just the people from the mountain, that is the people from around Montenegro and also from the region. And this year we have also people from France and from Italy. And yes, we will be here next day, and tomorrow we are waiting for the sun. Tonight we have a traditional, we call that igranka. If we speak on English, that is the party, but it's some kind of specific party, because that party shows the life and of the community. And tonight we're gonna have some traditional gathering, because in the last years we lose that traditional events, and now we're trying to recuperate them, because we want to show how our mountain is alive, rich, and how it's important for Montenegro, Europe, but also for the world. Why for the world? Because if we speak about climate change and about carbon print, we are example how people live in the harmony with the nature. Why? Because the places, the people here live in absolute symbiosis with the nature. And if people leave some village on the mountain, we call that village cartoons. After 10 or 20 years, the nature take the place, and you see zero effects on the ground. And we want to protect that, and we think our way of life is also the way how to protect our community, but also it's good example how to protect maybe the whole planet when we speak about climate change. So that is it from me. I am right now on the place where we have a big protest on 2020, and we are on position where we spend 51 day of the protest, and we was human shield for our mountain. And as Peter says, we have also some bad news from new Ministry of Defense, but the Prime Minister of Montenegro give a promise to the people of the mountain, and we call him to come here on Petrovdan on 12 July and look at eyes of the people, because he say to that people, we will protect this mountain. This is not to be military training ground. And now we want from him to keep the promise and cancel the decision about military training ground on Sinjajevina, because only Sinjajevina, which provide the food and shelter for the people, is right way of using our mountain. Sinjajevina is not, and also Sinjajevina cannot be military training ground, because if they kill Sinjajevina, if they want to kill Sinjajevina, before that they must kill us, all of us. And that is very big group of people, because every day it's bigger and bigger, and we have a big army here in Montenegro, and it's good to see our friends around the world. So that is it from me, and we are ready for every question. Thank you.
Maybe people can click raise hand if they want to raise their hand to ask a question. And Milan, could you show us the view again that you did before? Is that possible?
Yes, I will show. Okay.
Beautiful.
Yes. And this is part of our campers, and they are with me, one part of the group, and there is also another ones, and we have a one musician for tonight, and he will play the traditional instrument later for the community, because the people must do the work about.
Oh no, we lost Milan.
Yeah, it seems we lost him. It is important to say that the place where they are right now is not the camp, because at the camp where the camp of solidarity is, there is no signal at all. There is no network. So they moved for, let's say, 2 kilometers in the place where we had a protest 2 years ago, because that is the only single place on the mountain we can have an internet connection. So the part of people are with him to present themselves, but the rest of the people are 2 kilometers far.
I hope Milan can get connected back again. I hope he's aware that he's not connected. Oh, here we go. He's back, I think. Petar or Milan, can I ask you a question? Montenegro cannot have a very big military as far as militaries of the world go, and this training ground looks enormous. If you put the entire Montenegrin military in it, how much of it would it fill up?
You are quite right. As I told, Montenegro is really tiny country. We have just 600,000 people, an army of 2,000, and we have a military training ground of more than 100 square kilometers. Because obviously it is not the military training ground just for our army. It is international military training ground for NATO allies. So they are coming here to train their armies. They did the first military exercise in 2019. There were soldiers from Slovenia, from US, from Austria, from Italy, from Montenegro, from other countries. So it is clear that this big, huge military polygon is something much greater than our army and our own needs. I'm really sorry for this noise. I cannot control it because somebody in the building are doing something. So I ask Milan maybe to further reply on the questions because of this noise from my side.
I'm going to put the link to the petition in the chat, so if anyone hasn't signed it, they can click it and sign it. But you said you're going to invite the Prime Minister to come on the 12th. I imagine it's not likely that he will, and you're going to deliver the petition on the 18th. What will be the means of demanding a response to the petition?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I lose for a second connection, but that is regular here. So yes, we send invitation for Prime Minister, and on 18 we will bring the petition to him, and if he refuse that, that is the sign sign how he is insecure, and how is he bad politician, basically, because he promised something, and the word in our country is something bigger. So if you want to be respected and if you want to be a part of community and respected part of the community, you must keep your word. So if prime minister don't keep the word, he don't deserve to be prime minister. And we will see. We send invitation to him for Petrovdan for 12th July, and we will see first on that. That's gonna be a first test for him. If he doesn't show up, I think that is a big message for us. And after that message, we must keep fighting, but to find also another ways of fight, because yes, we need a diplomatic pressure, because our governments in Montenegro react only on the pressure from other sides, from EU, from Brussels, from Washington, and also from NGOs around the world. And that is the crucial, because we have a very good network of support. World Beyond War is one of the main supporters, and thanks to World Beyond War, we have a billboard in front of government with a big poster of Sinjajevina and with petition. And every morning when prime minister go on the work, he see the picture of the Sinjajevina, and he see the petition, and he see the place where he was with the people, and where he promised Sinjajevina will be protected. So we do small and big also in the same time pressure on him, and also for the rest of the government.
I want to encourage people to look where it says reactions and click that, and then click raise hand if you want to raise hand in the Zoom way, and then ask a question, and let me know in the chat if that's not working for some reason. Otherwise, I can go ahead and read questions that people have put in the chat. Julie Watkins has asked about UNESCO and the United Nations, and what position, if any, these organizations are taking. And we could add the EU. I know that there was a statement in recent weeks from the EU, but there are UNESCO sites right next to this site. What role, if any, is UNESCO or the UN or the EU playing here?
Okay. Okay, I will say something, and Peter, if can add if I forgot something. But with UNESCO, I think we have a problem, because they never react. They never say anything. And also, when the delegation goes to Paris and trying to speak with the people from UNESCO, they don't show too much interest, and they are very passive, and they basically they don't do nothing. And also we have a office in the government for cooperation with UNESCO, and it's a little bit problematic, because UNESCO basically wants to speak just with the governments, not too much with NGOs and.
We may have lost
with civic initiatives. Hello?
Milan, you're cutting in and out a little bit.
Okay. Now?
Okay. Yeah, it's mostly working. It's just fading in and out every once in a while.
Okay. Do you hear me now, maybe?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So basically, answer is UNESCO don't do nothing.
Nothing important.
Petar, do you want to add anything to that?
I
Yes,
don't
of
know what
course,
to add.
there is a simple explanation, and actually they told it to us in a very nice way in Paris in 2019. Of course, they are financed by the states, so
Yes.
they want to communicate with states, and every initiative towards UNESCO should be made by the state. So they sent us to the state, to the government, to talk to them, and we are talking to them for several years, but of course no success and no real dialogue. Our state did not respond to us at all for years. And just recently we had some first contacts with officials, and at the end of previous government mandate, Ministry of Defense called us to talk to us and actually to tell us that they are inviting us to go together with them in other countries to see another military polygons, another military training grounds, and to convince us that it is all fine there, that there is no ecological, cultural, and other impact in case of creating military training ground. So it is really funny how they are playing with us. And it is, it is obvious to everyone what is the power which push all of that. Because we have the Prime Minister who is promising save of Sinjajevina. We have European delegation in Montenegro on our side. We have this report of the European Parliament on the progress of Montenegro. All of those parties are clearly on side of Sinjajevina and for protection of this area. And then suddenly the new Minister of Defense coming from the NATO summit in Madrid and telling us that it is unlogical idea to cancel this decision, and they are going to create military training ground up there. So we will see how to proceed with that, but really we hope that this petition and the big antique books of thousands and thousands of signatures will be something to show them on Monday 18th. So we'll see how to proceed. But as Milan told, really we are all very clear with all of this. We will fight and we will try to protect this mountain without any limit. So we did it in 2020. We will do it again. We told them at that time, okay, if you want to shoot, just shoot, but we will be your targets in the mountain. And we printed targets, we put it on our chest, and we were in the mountain. So we will do again the same, and they will have to kill us and then to kill the mountain.
The dedication and the courage is very powerful. I want to ask a question. We have on this Zoom a woman from Italy, Tea Valentina Gardellin, who is from Vicenza, who came with our friends from Vicenza, came many years ago now to Washington, D.C., and we went and met with Congress members and congressional staff people, and we said, do not build this base in Vicenza. And they said, well, where should we build it? And our friends from Italy said, nowhere, don't build it anywhere. But I think that if people came from Sinjajevina to Washington and we met with the Congress members and their staff people and we said, don't build this. And they said, well, where should we build it? At least that would make clear to the people in Montenegro that this was a project coming out of Washington, D.C. and NATO, not out of Montenegro itself, right? I mean, would that be we're not going to change these people unless we can give them millions of dollars, or we can take the place over like the people of Sri Lanka just did to their government. But we can get them to say things out loud that reveal what they're up to. Would that be of any help, do you think?
Yeah, of course. It is really great. And if we have any opportunity to tell what we want to protect to anyone, including Washington and all the people there, we are ready to speak, and we have, let's say, arguments on our side, and we want really to promote that scientific approach and to understand, to spread the awareness to the people that those local communities really protected and conserve those areas. It is crucial thing, because their way of life, their tradition, their traditional way of herding created this ecosystem, and it is really symbiosis. So if we want to protect the nature for the future generation, if we want to protect the healthy food production, we have to protect the place like Sinjajevina.
There are a few questions in the chat, including from Thea, who I just mentioned, and one is why were the NATO soldiers, I guess in the photographs that you showed, Petar, why were the NATO soldiers wearing balaclava while government officials were not? I guess the soldiers were wearing a big ski mask, hats, and the government officials were not. I don't know why that's a question.
I really don't know. That was this military exercise in 2019, the only one that happened. That one happened, let's say, behind our back. The next one we stopped, but I don't know why. All officials were there. So our Minister of Defense at that time, and a lot of officers from other armies, from Slovenia, from US, from Italy, from Austria, and yes, some soldiers with those masks. I don't know why they're wearing it, just showing the different type of weapons and equipment they are using. So it was like some kind of fair. I don't know. Anyway, they were there.
Maybe I have idea why they're wearing that mask.
Yeah.
Maybe they tried to scare the people from the mountain, but that people here live with bears and wolves. So one guy from I don't know where cannot scare us. And also when we speak about this military training ground, and this is absolutely not for our army. That is the basic, because like Peter says, we are a very small nation and we have less than 1,000 soldiers, and so they have a plan to use Sinjajevina just for artillery, and we have less than 100 soldiers in that. So why they need the million of I don't know, the whole mountain, the biggest mountain in the country? And also for example, we today spend the time in one cartoon on municipality Kolashin, and in that cartoon that is one place where people producing one special kind of cheese, and that cheese is protected, and that is unique cheese, and that is national brand also. And when our government want to say something about themselves, they say we have a beautiful cheese from the north that is layered cheese, but don't they forgot to say, but also we try planning to bombing the place where people producing that special cheese. So our government is we think they don't work in the interest of the people, on the interest of people of the Sinjajevina exactly. They working for some other interest, and also we think that is NATO, and NATO trying to be a good guy, and last year the Jens Stoltenberg, the Secretary General of NATO, say we don't want bad publicity. We don't want to go there where people don't want us. So we are more than clear. We don't want the military here, and we don't want mortal shooting and shelling, I don't know, to bombing our lands, our houses, our homes. And so maybe if not NATO want to be a good guy, maybe they can convince the government of Montenegro to cancel the decision about military training ground.
You know, yesterday we had a workshop about unarmed civilian protection, about non-violent actions to stop violence. And there was a discussion of the need for a training ground, a training camp, a training facility somewhere in the world for unarmed civilian protection. It seems like we could send a few trainers, or maybe there are already some good trainers in Montenegro, and invite people to come help save Sinjajevina and get trained, begin an unarmed civilian protection training facility, exercise, organization on the mountain. What do you think?
You are very welcome. You are very welcome. So please come anytime. We will be happy to see you here and to do something together.
And if people sign the petition, the link is in the chat, and people watching this video, the link is on the World Beyond War website. You then get to the information about how to come visit Montenegro and participate. Petar, you're making a film all this time about Sinjajevina, and there's a desperate, urgent need to communicate about Sinjajevina, and the corporate media of the world seems incredibly uninterested. Is there any possibility of an early release of a small portion of the film?
Oh, it would be great, but unfortunately, due to production obligations, it is very hard to do it. Anyway, we are, let's say, in the late stage of all of that. So we are working on that film for several years, and it is coming slowly to the end. Really, we hope that this documentary will really help to present the problem and Sinjajevina to all around the world.
Milan, does anyone else with you on the mountain want to say anything about why they are there? We can't hear you. You're muted. So
Sorry. Yes, I have one colleague. She's a journalist, and she's here with me, and we have one guest from France, Naomi Jolette, and they can say something about mountain, because the rest of the people go to the camp because they preparing the gathering for tonight, and they say they will pick up us later, and our 3 soldiers are on the on the stand. So I will give the word to Mirjana.
Mirjana. Hi everyone. My name is Mirjana Đundić, and I am Milan's colleague. Well, what can I say? Right now we have a global crisis, and we don't have food. But Sinjajevina have a good potential for produce food for our country, and of course food for exports. We have approved for words about producing food. Yeah, we have beautiful landscapes here, and we have great potential. If government see one spot, and that spot can be tourism, I mean agritourism and agriculture, I think it could be great potential, not just for Sinjajevina. it's great potential for Montenegro and for Balkan and world, because we have great potential. We have a great potential, great soil for organic produce and that stuff. And that's what I say. I wanna
Pass the word.
yes, last word. No, I mean,
Naomi.
yeah.
Okay, Naomi is from France, and she's first time in Montenegro, and she spent with us 20 days, I think.
Yes, it's really.
And he see a lot of things of Montenegro, and she can share experience what she think about us and our battle and our mountain. So Naomi, please.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm French student of the University of Toulouse, and I'm working on my master degree of local development and geography. So I'm here in an internship, so I'm working. And my job is to understand what are the main characteristics of Sinjajevina for local people. So I've been doing many interviews in these 3 weeks that I spent here. And let's say that I hope my work will be useful for the future when it will be sure that no military training will take place in Sinjajevina, and that we can have a protected area with the participation of local people and territorial governance mainly. So.
Okay, Naomi, you speak with a lot of people. So, what is your impression for now? What people think about the future of the Sinjajevina, and what they think about military training ground?
Military training ground is mostly not a good idea for people, and I think the main problem in Sinjajevina, besides the military training ground, is let's say rural exodus, and the fact that people are getting older and younger generation are not coming to yes, they are still coming, but not in the same way. And so maybe agriculture will slowly disappear if nothing is done. And this can be a problem because, as they said, this ecosystem is partly maintained by agriculture and pastoralism. So if those people disappear and this way of life disappears, the landscapes as we know them will disappear too. So this would be a shame too.
And can I ask a question about tourism? Much of the world thinks tourism has become too much of a problem. In Venice, Italy, they are now charging tourists money to enter their city. Is this a place where you need more tourism, and can it be helpful to saving the mountain and economically?
Yes, of course, because it's agrotourism. That tourism is not aggressive tourism. It's a slow tourism, it's a kind of slow tourism without aggression for mount lovers, and we can connect tourism workers and tourists for shepherds, and in that case they can sell and buy their products. This mountain, it's not for hotel, not for massive tourism. This mountain is must save look like right now, without any kind of massive tourism.
Yeah, and one of the options is rural tourism. And when we speak about tourism who coming in the house of the people and stay with them sometimes and experience see the exchange, the way of life, and have a full experience of for example how it's to be on the mountain. For example, Naomi spent the time with us, and she spent the time with a local community, and she sleep with family, and she work also with family. And in these days of stress, of chaos, sometimes we must have some place to run away. And I think the place like Sinjajevina is ideal because we here don't have a signal. We must be here on the one hill on the wind to speak on the phone, and because of that, it's also that is health side of tourism, because let put out the phones and put in the nature with a human. That is idea.
If anyone wants to ask a question other than me, hurry up and raise your hand or put it in the chat, or tell me in the chat if you're having trouble with raise your hand. I wanted to ask Petar or Milan, the billboard that we just put up, do you think it's going to have an impact? And if the prime minister and the government don't act, is there another slightly more aggressive billboard that should replace it next month? You aren't listening. You aren't keeping your promise. Are we justified in getting a little more angry with each passing month? Petar, you're muted. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we will meet our prime minister on 18th, so he will have a chance to tell about his promises and the government ideas right now. But yes, of course, if this billboard is not enough, then we will create another one.
Coming and going all year round, she says.
Sorry, I'm muting somebody who was unmuted for some reason.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
yes,
Petar.
Yes. So, but this billboard we created is really nice. It is soft, but in the same time, it's not soft. Telling the people that Sinjajevina is the best protector of the people when it's feeding the people, and stop the military training ground. So we'll see. As Milan told, all the officials, prime minister and his ministers are looking at the billboard every single morning, going to their offices. So we'll see if they are going to learn something in the meantime.
In the meantime, we have about 8 minutes left. There may be a question here in the chat from Nick Mattern. He writes, is there oil? Are there minerals or other things in these mountains that corporations want to extract? I don't think that's the issue, but Petar or
it is not. Let's say it is not the issue, but we forgot to mention one thing, and this reminds me right now. That is the fact that this mountain is the huge reservoir of water. So every winter season we have meters of snow up there, and all the main Montenegrin rivers are fed by the water of melting snows from this mountain. So we have a lot of problems with private capital who is creating hydroelectrical plants around the Sinjajevina on the wild rivers, and they are interested in this hydro potential, and also, of course, the water source. But it should be, first of all, protected, not to be poisoned, so we can have water in our rivers and in our springs. But no minerals, no other things, let's say, to be interesting for the companies to exploit.
Well, in some parts of the world, they are privatizing and exploiting water, so it's worth watching out for. We have about 7 minutes left. Milan or anyone on the mountain want to say any final words on what people should know and how people can help?
Yes. We want just to demonstrate how we are spontaneous, and so now Petar's wife is with us also,
No, it's the film team.
And now we go in the camp, and for next year we're calling everybody from this group to go to come in Montenegro and visit see Sinjajevina and see what we defend and for what we are fighting for. But in the meantime, please share our petition and call the people to sign the petition, because we really need support, because we must be very, very strong, because we need that strength, because we have strong enemies, but we are brave and stronger than them. Okay, that is it from us from the mountain.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. And everyone should indeed share the petition, sign it. The link is in the chat. Sign it and share it by email and social media and every which way you can. And use the hashtag NoWar2022, which is reaching a lot of people right at the moment. Petar, did you want to say anything in closing?
Just to say thank you for the opportunity to talk and to be with you. And please sign this petition, help us in our fight against militarization of the mountain. That is crucial, just to have more signatures up to 18th. And that's great help in this moment.
There's also a link in the chat that Caroline Hurley just put there that links to the same petition, which is linked to and embedded on numerous websites, which is very helpful. So indeed, anyone has any ideas for spreading the word or gaining more signatures or finding other organizations that will join in supporting this cause, we need all the help we can get. This is not like a petition in the United States where you can get 1 million people to sign it and not a single member of the US government to acknowledge its existence, and nothing you can do about it. This is going to be delivered to the Prime Minister in 9 days, and he is going to have to respond in some way to this petition. So the more names that are on it, the more comments that are added to it, the more it's shared around, it could make a difference in what the results are of that meeting. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to Petar. Thank you to Milan. Thank you to everyone freezing on the mountain for your dedication and sacrifice. And we have a section now in the conference where people can go to network, to meet others, chat one-on-one or in groups with others, and go to expo booths. And so to do that, you leave this Zoom call and you go back to the webpage of the conference that has the lobby, and you click on expo booths at the top, or you click on whatever section of the conference you want to go to speakers, to sponsors, etc. And there will be a panel 15 minutes from now. There will be a panel starting called Reinvesting in a Just, Peaceful, and Green World. So we will look forward to seeing everyone there in 15 minutes. In the meantime, thank you, everyone, for taking part here, and peace.
Thanks.